What's up, guys? Hold on, guys.
All right, Grayson Report's going to do her ghost show from this studio. She's right here, guys. That's a surprise. And then I'm going to end this one. You're going to get rated to Grayson Report. Guys? Bernadette, spam her link in the comments. We will see you there right now, literally. Okay? Right now. Turn it out.
Give me a...
Don't turn yourself off.
Oh, I'm not going to turn me. Give me a second, guys.
No second. Keep talking.
Oh, I'm going to keep talking, but it's just going to be like a little shaky cam. So what's up, Heather, whatever, Wendy, Jen, Aaron, Dusty, Chris Barber, D Nice, B.S. Stone. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. How was your Saturday? Or how is your Saturday going so far, I should ask. Peace, love, and life. What's up? Tyranna!
Is the raid going? Hey, you know what? Welcome to Grayson Report, y'all. I'm taking over 44 people in the house. We got Lisa right here. Do not switch your dial. All right. You can turn it off right there. Yeah, you can turn that off. Do not switch that dial. We got some ghost stories coming up right now. What do you got coming, Lisa? Ouija board murders. Should I tell them what your new step in life is?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you guys ready? Did you guys get notified? All right. Lisa, come over here. She's going to take over the show. I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go to the protest. I may. This is Lisa's show right now, Grayson Report. But I'm gonna say something. I'm very proud of you because she's taking the next step. For you, you guys motivated her to take this step. For a long time, she has been miserable at her work. Okay, and as of Friday, which was yesterday, Lisa is told them, "Hey, you know what? You all don't appreciate me. You guys abuse the hours. I'm done." And you wouldn't have done it because without the support of the channel, the full support of these people.
And they understood too, because they saw
they understood. So right now, Lisa, all she has is this, you all. So I'm going to ask you guys from the bottom of my heart, do me a favor, join her Patreon. It's a free, she has a free Patreon as well and stuff. And if you can, join a tier on Patreon. You can support her via Cash App, Super Chat, or whatever. The main thing is to keep watching her. We're going to have some great videos we're going to collaborate on together soon. So some ghost stuff.
I have a bunch of ideas.
Who you have a bunch of ideas? Yeah, I know you've been telling me.
I've been telling for months.
Yeah, so people are congratulating you in the comments, and also we're gonna make her studio look even more awesome and stuff. And what else do we got? Patreon and everything. And you guys decide where do you want us to go? Would you guys want us to go on a ghost adventure together? Maybe to a haunted place or something. Now that we have time. Yeah.
I have a few in mind.
Yeah. All right, guys, keep the support coming. And
thank you, Ann. You're awesome.
Yeah, let's get you in here. We'll give some more love to Ann right here. Let me just switch you because she is in my studio. So we're trying to. Where does it say switch? And hearts for Ann for being the first person to support today. How did I get in your studio?
You were right there. Is it this one?
No, I have to get in your video right here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ann's been a member for 10 months.
Awesome, man. For Ann, guys. You guys can hear me?
You can hear her. All right. There. She's set. I'm out of here. It's your show. Keep the support coming. Who dares to support Lisa. Who dares to support this crazy woman right here? Is it going to be you? Anne already stepped up. Let's see. Brandon stepped up. Yeah.
Hold on, guys. No, Kyle, there is a skeleton in the background. I brought him with me.
Is it a skeleton?
Skeleton he made an appearance in Nerd Report, but you guys didn't notice. He is behind me, guys. So if you guys, I will reveal his location. I mean, I made it kind of easy, but that's all right. Thank you, Brandon, for being a member of 9 months. So happy for you. Much love, churros for you. Thank you, Brandon. Hearts for Brandon, guys. And Brandon, thank you for the super chat. Spooky fun. Hearts for Brandon again. Bernadette sees him already. I made it kind of easy because I didn't know where to put him. Because I don't know where the camera actually aims. So I kind of just put him in the middle. But he did make an appearance on Nerd Report. So he is in the last video. But he's there. Just remind me. I'm pretty sure you can find him, but just remind me. And I will reveal his location. So guys, if you... Julissa, thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 10 months. Hearts for Julissa as well. Yes, I finally see Skeleduck. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for becoming a new member. Hearts for peace, love, and light. Light as well. Lisa Bugos finally see Skeleduck. Brant, make sure you smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Just remind me, I'll reveal his location, even though he's kind of easy today, but hey. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't sure where the camera was pointing. I didn't want to put him somewhere where you couldn't see him. So he's there. He wanted to say hi, everybody. Hi to everybody. Guys, as I was saying, did anyone do anything interesting this or today before I get into my main topics here? And FYI, if you guys haven't seen Thanksgiving, it is now on. I haven't watched it yet. I plan on watching it. It is on Netflix. So guys, check it out. I am super excited. I haven't been able to see it yet. D-Nice goes, freaking heck, Lisa. I gulped down my dinner, need to breathe. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. Thank you, D-Nice. Gunner Girl, thank you for being a member for 7 months. So excited for you, Lisa. You deserve to be happy. Hearts for D-Nice and Gunner Girl. Bernadette, thank you for your super chat. That Pinche Duck. Congrats, Lisa. So happy for you, your new journey. Thank you, Bernadette. And hearts for Bernadette as well. He's easy to find today. I plan on watching it. I just don't know when yet, but I plan when I get a chance. Miss Sunrise Dawn. Hi from North Georgia, everyone. Brand new sub here. Sent over for... Oh, welcome, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I like your name. It's an awesome name. This chair... Which is weird. This is like the same chair as mine, but it feels different. It goes back. I got to rest today. That was what I did today. I needed it though. D-Nice is found. Just remind me, I'll reveal his location. Even though I kind of made it easy, but oh well. Heather, whatever goes good, Lisa, you need a rest indeed. Yes, I did. Thank you, Dusty. Good luck with all your new adventures. Thank you. I'm going to see where the waves take me. I know, it's super easy. Chris, thank you for your super chat. PayPal not working for me, so here you go. Congrats. Thank you, Chris. Hearts for Chris. And as always, I do have a Patreon as well. It's free if you'd like to join. I do plan on posting some videos there, some spooky videos That's my plan. I've been talking about it for months. So we're gonna get this my thoughts into fruitation, I guess you could say. Jennifer Marie, what's up? So have you guys ever heard of murders connected to the Ouija board? D-Nice is asking, so you believe that whoever's hosting the Ouija readings has a magnet on the pointer indicating those seeking answers, or is it legit? You know what, D-Nice? I tried. It wasn't a real Ouija board, though. It was one of those Hasbro. I have it in my closet, actually. It's one of the toy ones that Hasbro's came out with. And I was messing around. I know you're not supposed to mess around with those things, but I was messing around because I'm a little skeptical about those. But I do still believe into the dangers into them. So I was kind of there. I wasn't really asking anything. I was just kind of there, and nothing happened. So it might be, I probably should have asked something, but nothing happened. I do have in my studio, I do have a Ouija board. It's in the background, but the planchette is in my room. So it's in two different areas because I know if you leave the planchette on the board, it's not a good thing. So I'm a little skeptical, but I do, hence the warning with them that I won't mess with them because you can open a door. I do believe that you can open a door and let something in that you don't intentionally want to let in. So I know not to mess with those, but I've never actually used one, so it's not, I can't really say on, but nothing happened with me alone. I just felt like I didn't have enough energy for it, maybe, but Nikki Bella, what's up? And also, too, you could think that you're talking to a loved one and it could be something evil masking your loved one to trick you. So there's something, there's always like a curiosity with it, but at the same time, there is like, I do feel like there is a danger with it, but I'm not scared of them. But I do know not to leave the planchette on the board. Debbie goes, heard you can make your own, which I will never do. D Nice goes, I like how Skeledex is like Jack Torrance from The Shining. Where am I? Oh, like here's Johnny. Gunner Girl goes, never used one or been around one. Wendy goes, I never ever want to play with a toy Ouija board. Allison Rose goes, Ouija board scared me as a kid so much. Debbie P also said those are real. There's also the ones also not it's like with a pendulum where you use it's like a little board with I guess yes or no, and you use a crystal and the crystal sways that's another communication device which I have never used as well. So apparently there's been murders linked to Ouija boards. So how crazy is that to be in a court of law and say the Ouija board made me do it? Like, how crazy would that sound? Like, to the judge and to the jurors and to your actual lawyer that has to defend you. Just imagine. Bernadette goes, I tried to summon Beetlejuice, didn't work. I summoned something, though. Debbie goes, like letters and numbers on a paper under glass on a table. Exactly. Heather, whatever goes, demons are waiting to get even with me for usurping their role, pushing the thing. Julissa goes, it sounds crazy, but I believe it. I do. I'm still like, I'm the type of person that would try it, but I do, like, I'm 50-50 when it comes to those things. Like, I do believe in spirit boards. I do believe that we can communicate with the dead, but at the same time, I know like there's a certain there's danger to it as well, because evil likes to mask. They like to mask themselves to trick you. They mask themselves as children. They mask themselves as a loved one because you're basically so they can you give them permission to enter, in other words. So I know I get that. I understand that. Like I do believe in all of that. And but I'm still type the one that will try. And I just figured my thing was I just figured I didn't have enough energy. Because I feel like sometimes I'm open, but at the same time I feel like the spirits probably think like there's a block with me. They're like, oh, F her. She doesn't believe in us. We're not gonna do anything. So like I feel like I don't know, for some odd reason, like I am a believer, but I feel like there's like this block or something. I feel like, you know, the other side is saying, oh, stay away from her. You know what I mean? Panda Bear goes, there's a Zozo that comes out of the Ouija board. Debbie goes, tried it as a small kid with friends. Thank God nothing happened. Peace, love, and life. They work Ouija boards, so do them as if you believe. Bernadette has a jokester spirit ever since that day. Followed me. He's cool. His name is Jack. That's cool. At least Bernadette, he's a cool spirit. Jennifer Marie will never mess with one. So I have this article from I have a few articles actually. I found a great deal of articles. Let's see. Hold on. His setup is kind of a little different. All right. So this one's from List First, and it's 10 terrible crimes connected to Ouija boards. And this one goes, the Ouija board was invented in the 1890s as a parlor game with no real association to ghosts or spirits. In 1966, the rights to the game were sold to Hasbro, who still owns it, and Ouija boards have been mass-produced ever since. The movement on the board is caused by the ideomotor effect, which happens when someone unconsciously moves the planchette. So it really isn't any connection to the spirit world, yet people still fear the Ouija board, and it has been involved in some incredibly bizarre and violent crimes. So do you guys believe, so Robert Grimmick, who wrote this article, is saying that the movement of the board is caused by an ideomotor effect, which means you're just constantly, you're not knowing that you're moving it, but you're moving it. Do you believe that is it, or do you believe there's actually a spirit? Joanne, how's it going? There's actually some otherworldly energies moving the planchette. D Nice goes, also too, in high school I got scared that if I stared long enough at my keyboard that it would start acting like a Ouija board. Or like D Nice says, that there's a magnet causing it to move. Joanne goes, vibration energy. I think in some cases it could be you moving it, but at the same time, I do believe it's a way to communicate with the dead. Julissa goes, I think some people are more susceptible and doors can be opened through one. Wendy goes, the terminology is off. Mind power. Leonor, what's up? I had friends and myself included, but we always asked, did you move it? Mine, when I did, it was just me, and it did not move for me. But I'm down to try it again. But I would be safe about it. Joanne goes kind of like medians. I feel like we all have an energy and we're all open in some ways. People are more, there's certain people like medium psychics, empaths that they're more open than others. Tyrana goes, I believe there could be evil spirits. Dusty goes, I recall using one as a kid with a friend. We were definitely moving it to yes or no for the questions. D Nice goes, tempted to paint an air hockey table as a Ouija and see where it goes. Chris goes, I talked to the dead most of my life living behind a cemetery, but they have never talked back. That's how I feel, Chris. I feel you, Chris. I feel like I do the same thing and they don't talk back. Like, they're like, don't talk to her. Or they maybe like, you know how some people are approachable and some people aren't? Like in real life, like actual people, you know how you get a vibe off of people? Like, I don't want to talk to her. Or I feel like that's the same way with spirits. Maybe they get a vibe off of some people where they're like, don't talk to her. So it starts off with number 10, Nancy Bowen and Lila Jimerson. On March 7th of 1930, that is a weird name. Clothill Merchant answered the door of her Buffalo, New York home and found an unfamiliar Native American woman on her doorstep. In broken English, the woman accused her of being a witch and then attacked her with a hammer. Finally, she stuffed a chloroform-soaked rag down oh my god, that's like a weird name. Clothild's throat. A short time later, her body was found by her 12-year-old son. Witnesses saw the killer scoping out the house, and Clothild's husband, the sculptor Henry Merchant, pointed the police toward one of his models, a Seneca woman named Lila Jimerson. She and 66-year-old Nancy Bowen, the actual killer, were arrested on the night of the murder. Soon, the complicated murder plot came to light. In the fall of 1929, Jimerson and Bowen were using a Ouija board in an effort to contact the spirit of Bowen's recently deceased husband, Sassafras Charlie. Through the Ouija board, Sassafras, they had the most unique names in the past, let me tell you. I think they're cool because not everyone who is named Sassafras nowadays. Nobody. So it's always cool to have a unique name because then, like, I remember growing up, there was always 3 Lisas in my class, and we always had to say which one. So to have a unique name is, well, you would never have anybody else have that name. Chris Barber goes, they are probably just mad that I tell them to stay on their side of the fence. Maybe. Aaron goes, I'm too empathetic. I don't trust them. Soon, the complicated murder plot came to light. In the fall of 1929, Jimerson and, I'm reading the same thing again, but that's okay, and Bowen were using a Ouija board in an effort to contact the spirit of Bowen's recently deceased husband, Sassafras Charlie. Through the Ouija board, Sassafras Charlie apparently said that he was murdered by a woman named Clothild. I'm butchering the name because that is just a weird female name, and gave her address and description. After the seance, Bowen began receiving letters from a mysterious Mrs. Dooley explaining that Clothild was actually a witch and had placed a hex on Sassafras Charlie because she was jealous of his healing powers. When the hex didn't work, Clothild just killed him. The letter also indicated that Bowen might be Clothild's next victim. Of course, all of this was coming from Jimerson. Henry Murchard claimed that Jimerson was infatuated with him and had plotted to kill his wife out of jealousy. However, Jimerson's lawyer said that she and Henry were actually having an affair, and it was Henry who had orchestrated his wife's death. Jimerson was acquitted of the crime while Bowen pleaded guilty and was released on time served. As for Henry, he moved to Albany and married his murdered wife's 18-year-old niece within the year. I don't know how I feel about that one. Gunner Girl goes, I called one of my son's friends Sassafras because he was sassy. Number 9, the Carroll family. On Christmas Eve of 2014, Paul Carroll was using a Ouija board in his home in Cassett County, Durham, United Kingdom. According to Carroll, he was trying to contact the dead when an evil spirit entered the family dog, Molly. Carroll, who has learning disabilities, then drowned the dog and dismembered her body. Afterwards, he dumped the body in an outside drain, causing it to back up. When workers were brought in to fix the drain, they discovered the dog's body. Meanwhile, neighbors who had heard the story reported Carroll to the police. He was arrested and charged with causing the dog unnecessary suffering. Carroll pleaded guilty and received a suspended sentence, but the story took an even stranger turn in January of 2015. Just a week after her husband's guilty plea, Carroll's wife, Margaret, and his stepdaughter, Katrina, I was like, stepdads aren't named Katrina, were using the same Ouija board when it apparently told them they were going to die. The next day, the mother and daughter took some prescription drugs and then set their house on fire in an apparent attempt. Both women were hospitalized but survived. Luckily, no one else was hurt, even though there were explosive gas canisters in the house. Both Margaret and Katrina were arrested for arson and given 4 years in prison. Hopefully, the family has given up their Ouija board hobby or at least stopped blaming their crimes on it. Just imagine going in there and going on the stand and going, yes, my stepdaughter and I were, yes, my stepdaughter and I, we used a Ouija board and it told us to do that. Not saying that it's not real, but that I would think maybe in the earlier times they would believe it because spirit boards were really popular. But I think now they'll be like a little skeptical. Leonardo, stop blaming the Ouija. Heather, whatever goes, freaky defense. Dorothea and Maddie Turley. I on an earlier stream I had read a story about them. On November 8th, 1933, Dorothea Irene Turley was using a Ouija board with her 15-year-old daughter, Maddie Turley, at their home in Prescott, Arizona. Dorothea was using the planchette, which spelled out a message instructing Maddie to kill her father, thereby freeing Dorothea to marry a young cowboy. She also told her daughter that the board could not be denied. So, obedient to her mother and the board, Maddie walked up behind her 48-year-old father and pew-pewed him twice in the back while he was doing chores on the farm. He died in hospital a few weeks later. Both Maddie and Dorothea were arrested and the whole story quickly came out. Maddie admitted her guilt and was sentenced to reform school until she was 18. Dorothea was convicted of assault with intent to commit murder and was given a sentence of 10 to 25 years. However, the conviction was overturned by the Arizona Supreme Court in 1936, resulting in Dorothea's release from prison. So, I don't remember if she was able to marry her young cowboy in the end. Wendy goes, why would you use a child with a Ouija mild control? Well, it sucks because she wanted the blame put on something else. So she figured she wouldn't, her kid being young enough at the time they would send her off to reform school. Cause I think way back then, I don't think that's what they did. I don't think they really, nowadays you can be convicted as an adult. If they believe that you are aware of what you did. But back then I'm not sure how it was. So I'm guessing that that's probably what she thought. She can blame it on her daughter and nothing would happen to her, which in obviously was overturned. So in a way she got away with it, which sucks. B.S. Stone, same, yeah, it kind of is. It is. But to involve your daughter, that just sucks. Number 7, Stephen Young. On February 10th, 1993, 35-year-old Stephen Young, an insurance broker, entered the home of 45-year-old car dealer Harry Fuller in Wadhurst, England. Young was swimming in debt and knew that Fuller kept large quantities of money in his house. Young pew-pewed Fuller once in the back and then pew-pewed his young wife, Nicola, 4 times, including once in the face. When Nicola called the police, the operator heard noises but thought it was a young child playing games, so no help was sent. Oh my gosh, and this was in 1993, guys. It turns out that noise the operator heard was the dying Nicola Fuller trying to speak through a severely broken jaw. What? A short time later, Young was arrested for the crime. He admitted to going to the Fuller house on the day of the murder, but insisted that Harry and Nicola were already dead, prompting him to run away in fear. That story failed to convince the jury, and he was convicted and given 2 life sentences. Then, in October of 1994, a retrial was ordered because 4 of the jurors turned out to have sought a bit of outside help in making their decision. They used an upturned wine glass on a Ouija board in an attempt to contact the victims and ask them if Young did it. Apparently, the board confirmed that Young was the murderer. The next morning, the foursome told the other 8 jurors about the board's message. Although the jurors insisted they didn't take it seriously or let it affect their decision, Young's appeal for a second trial was granted. The retrial was hard for the family of the victims who were disappointed by the ruling. Luckily for them, Young was again found guilty at his second trial. That's crazy. That is crazy. And then I think he was jealous of the wife too. Because the wife, poor Nicola, she got pew-pewed 4 times. What did she have to do with it? Wendy goes, I believe this one. Joanne goes, that's some jury. Heather whatever goes, they would have gotten OJ. Probably if they used a Ouija board. Jennifer Marie goes, this sounds like more like a plot to a Netflix series, a true crime one. They have some great true crime ones on Netflix. Tyrana goes, wow, so scary. I mean, obviously the jurors, I would probably didn't say that there was a Ouija board involved during the actual trial. But obviously someone found out about that because it's in this article. But still, though, I mean, I feel like even though you don't want to use the Ouija board as an influence, I still feel like they did use it as an influence. They're like, no, the Ouija board said he did it. D Nice goes, I would watch that Netflix series. I would too. Number 6, Gary Gilmore. Over the course of 2 nights in July of 1976, career criminal Gary Gilmore shot 2 men to death in Utah. He was soon arrested and became famous when he demanded to be executed for his crimes. Gary's younger brother, Michael Gilmore, later wrote the classic book, Pew Pewed in the Heart, about their childhood. In the book, Michael relays, I like that spelling of Michael, that's a cool spelling, relays a strange story about their mother, Bessie. According to Michael, Bessie was convinced that she had contacted a demonic spirit through a Ouija board as a child. Furthermore, she believed that the demon had subsequently attached itself to her family. She became even more convinced when one of her sisters were killed and another one was left paralyzed after an accident. As an adult, Bessie married Frank Gilmore, whose mother, Faye, was a medium. One night, Bessie was told there would be a seance at Faye's home. Remembering her own bad experiences with the supernatural, Bessie stayed away, returning to find Faye exhausted and terrified. She managed to get the older woman into bed before heading to sleep herself. A short time later, she was awoken by the feeling that someone was touching her face. When she opened her eyes, she saw a terrifying inhuman creature lying in bed beside her. Screaming, she jumped out of bed only to see Faye walking into the room, shouting that if it knows who you are and urging Bessie to get out of the house right away. Panicking, she ran to the bedroom her children were sleeping in. There, she saw the creature looking directly into the eyes of her young son, Gary. She managed to grab her kids and flee the house, but Gary reportedly began to have terrible nightmares afterwards. Bessie would see the entity again standing in her house just before Gary started to get into trouble. She came to believe that the demon she had summoned as a child through the Ouija board had possessed her son, making him an angry and violent man. In 1977, Gilmore was executed for his crimes via pewing squad. He is the subject of Norman Mailer's Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Executioner's Song, which was adapted into a TV movie starring Tommy Lee Jones. And I have never seen that TV movie. Have any of you seen The Executioner's Song? Leonardo's not cool like Amityville. Heather Whatever goes cautionary tale there. Heather Whatever saw it. Panda Bear, no, I've never heard of it. But Heather Whatever has seen it. Matthew's in the house. What's up? But Gary did demand, Chris is going to look for it, that he wanted to be executed. So I don't know if his mother filled his head up. Not to say that these things happen. I do believe that we can get possessed and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also thinking of like the other side. Maybe his mom filled, say on the other side, not say that it wasn't a demon, hypothetically. I feel like maybe his mom filled his head up. So with all this stuff of not to say that didn't happen, but that Gary believed that he was evil and that something within him was causing the problem. And that's why he was like, I demand to be executed, which is sad, kind of. Heather Whatever goes, that was creepy about his execution. D Nice goes, manipulation. Wendy's blaming her nightmares on me. But I feel like, because there's also on Netflix, there's also a series called Devil on Trial, where an 11-year-old was possessed. I believe they did one of the Conjurings on it. And the guy, I believe this one. The guy, I don't have it here because we're talking about Ouija boards just to go off, but the guy was like, I did not do it, but I think he taunted the spirit when he was inside because he was dating the boy's sister, and he taunted the spirit, and I think that's when it entered him, and it caused but check it out, it's interesting. And I kind of believe it. In that case, I do believe it because I feel like that there is a possibility for that. And looking at the guy doesn't even look like he didn't seem like he would hurt a fly or anything. Logical Spock, what's up? But there's always the scientific reasons too. I'm kind of going about this as Dana Scully. There's also like a scientific way of saying it too, saying like in Gary's case, like I was saying, maybe his mom had said, hey, I think a demon's messing with you, and this is why you're acting bad, and the only way to destroy it. And that's why he probably felt that he had to do that. Like he demanded it. So that's kind of crazy. Nobody demands to be executed ever. Nobody wants, in all honesty, I don't think anybody wants to die, even if they committed a horrible crime. I don't think anybody wants to die. Tickle Tits, what's up? Kyle goes possessed like in the Constantine movie. Yes. Peace, Love, and Life believes that story too as well. With the devil made me do it. So number 5, the murder of Nook Van Ding. In 1983, a 25-year-old Anthony Hall and his 16-year-old girlfriend, Bunny Dixon, were fascinated with Satanism and the occult. That summer, Dixon told Hall and their friends, 24-year-old Daniel Bowen and 18-year-old Elizabeth Town, about a plan that had been given to her by the spirit of a 10-year-old boy named David, who communicated with her through a Ouija board. The plan involved leaving their home in Florida and joining a carnival in Virginia. In order to fund their trip, they would have to rob and murder a motorist. On July 20th, Town and Dixon pretended to hitchhike while the two men hid. When 25-year-old Nock Van Ding picked up the girls, the men jumped out and robbed him of $111 at knife point. Then they bound and gagged him and drove a short distance to an isolated area where Hall carved an inverted cross into Ding's chest. The youths then made him hop into a wooded area where they pew-pewed him 11 times in the head and chest. After the murder, they took off in Ding's car, but the two couples split up in North Carolina. Once they were on their own, Bowen and Town called the police and told them they had witnessed a murder. They also led the police to the crime scene. Hall and Dixon were arrested a short time later. All 4 were tried for the murder. Hall and Bowen got life sentences while Dixon was given 50 years and Town got 17. Wow. That one's crazy. So the Ouija board told them to do that, or... It says it's in an article about a plan that had been given to her by the spirit of a 10-year-old boy. So was that murder involved, or was it they planned it and the plan of the Ouija board was just to leave home? Because it kind of doesn't delve into that. But that's still crazy. Dusty Lane goes 111. Is that a numerology sign? That's why that was like $111. The poor man. It doesn't matter if he had $2. The poor man lost his life when he didn't have to. Heather, whatever goes, don't name your kid Bunny. That's why I was like, Bunny. And I'm not going to delve into why we don't name our kids Bunny. D Nice goes, when I was younger, I thought their names were Moldy and Sculler. Leonore goes, that was expensive in the day. True, because it happened in 1983. So, yes. But still, it doesn't matter. If the guy had $2 and if the guy had $1,000, still, the guy did not deserve to die over over, and they were young, too. They were 16-year-old, 25 years old and 16-year-olds. And then 24-year-old and 18-year-old. Like, that is young. And then they got life sentences, and then Dixon was given 50 years, and Town got 17. So the younger ones, the minors, still even got Town wasn't a minor though, but Dixon was. Dixon got 50 years. And she was 16. So if she didn't get parole, she would be 66 when she came out. Dusty goes, my aunt's name is Bunny. Jennifer Murray goes, I think Bunny is like a nickname like Kitty. Peace, Love, and Life goes, yes, it is, and got shot, pew-pewed 11 times. Chris, it was a TV movie, so it may be a little hard to find. Julissa goes, Bunny is a nickname for Bernice. I did not know that. Thank you, Julissa. I had no idea. But no one's named Bernice nowadays. Logical Spot goes, $111 in 1983 is equal to $338 today. But still, that poor man did not deserve that. So number 4, Carol Sue Elvaker. On the night of February 11th, 2001, 53-year-old grandmother Carol Sue Elvaker was using a Ouija board with her daughter Tammy Roach and Tammy's two daughters. While playing in their home in Mintco, Oklahoma, Elvaker apparently received a message from God through the Ouija board informing her that her son-in-law, 34-year-old Brian Roach, was evil and needed to be killed. So Elvaker grabbed a knife and stabbed the former mayor of Mintco. He won the election by 8 votes when he was just 19 in his sleep. He called out for help, but Elvaker and Tammy Roach did nothing, allowing him to bleed to death. After stabbing her son-in-law, Elvaker tried to stab Tammy's 10-year-old daughter, but Tammy wrestled the knife from her mother and hid it in the house. Then Elvaker, Roach, and her 2 daughters piled into a car with Elvaker's driving. That proved a bad idea, since Elvaker soon tried to kill everyone in the car by running into a road sign. Whoa! However, she only ended up breaking both her ankles and slightly injuring the other passengers. Elvaker then got out of the car and tried to push one of her granddaughters into... What? Apparently believing that she had inherited Brian's evil. After failing to kill her granddaughter, Elvaker ran from the scene even though both of her ankles were broken. She stripped off her clothes and hid in the forest, but was soon arrested by authorities. Real quick, thank you, Tinkle Tits, for being a member of the Wolfpack for 6 months. I only use Waluigi boards. Hearts for Tinkle Tits, guys. It kind of does, D-Nice, but with a van instead of a race car. What's really odd about the case is that Elvaker had no history of mental problems. Drugs and alcohol were not involved, and investigators couldn't find any evidence of domestic problems in the home. Elvicker was ruled insane and committed to a psychiatric hospital. Tammy was also charged, but the case was later dropped. That is crazy. It was like the grandmother just went crazy after using a Ouija board. She just went crazy. Wow. That's all I could say about that one. Heather, whatever goes, she says she went way off. She did. She did. And then they also said she had never had any mental problems before. So where did this come from? I mean, maybe because she realized what she did and it just made her go mad? Peace, love, and life. Did she ever say anything to anyone about why she did it? It does not say here, unfortunately. It just says that she was committed because, I mean, obviously that's what it seemed like happened. She went mad. Dusty Elaine goes possessed. Elaine goes reminds me of the movie The Visit. That is on The Visit's on, is it on Max? I think it's on Max. Leonardo goes loca. Definitely. This is crazy. What could cause a 53-year-old grandmother with no history of mental issues to think to do that from a Ouija board? But then again, she thought it was God, saying that her son-in-law was evil. And then all of a sudden, it just went on a rampage after that. It wasn't just the son-in-law. She just went after everyone else. Chris Barber goes, that is messed up movie. It is. Kyle is going, what made her want to use the board in the first place? Exactly. Like, maybe her daughter convinced her because it was her daughter and her grandchildren that were using it. So maybe her daughter convinced her to use it. But that's weird. You don't usually go, hey, mom, or hey, grandma, let's go use a Ouija board. Heather, whatever goes, why the taking clothes off part, I wonder, not a good look. Maybe she thought she could hide. I don't know. I agree. Maybe because she just did away with her, son-in-law. Maybe she had, blood on it. So, but that also shows that she went mad because who just takes off all your clothes and runs in the forest? Heather, whatever goes, I had a friend who told us at a party he got naked, jumped out of the window, and ran down the street saying he was Jesus Christ. Why not? I'm the janitor. Julissa goes bipolar. It says, though, she had no history, though, of mental problems. Leonardo goes, they don't believe in medicine, might have some issues, a possibility. Maybe there was something that she did have, but she never went to the doctor and got diagnosed. Kyle goes, clothes are evil and unnatural. The funny thing is, I've seen The Visit, D-Nice, and I remember parts of it, but I don't remember it, so I got to revisit it. But I've seen it, but I don't remember, which is weird. I remember some parts of it, but I don't remember the movie. I got to revisit that one. I know I liked it, but I just don't. Nerd report in the house. All right. My phone reminding me to drink water. That's why I was like, wait a minute, why is it buzzing? Hold on. Thank you, Heather, whatever, for your... Sorry, guys. My phone was on silent, so I didn't get the PayPals. Heather, whatever. Thank you for your PayPal. Screw that lousy job. Watch 9 to 5 if you need a movie. Thank you, Heather, whatever. Hearts for Heather, whatever. And Tyranna, thank you for your PayPal. Heather Salvatore, thank you for your PayPal as well. You make me happy. Thank you, Heather Salvatore. Hearts for Heather Salvatore, Heather whatever, and Tyranna. Thank you guys. You're awesome. Peace, love, and life goes to think about her grandkids would be a huge jump. However, everything she did in that moment is weird. It is. Like she Heather Salvatore goes, bras suck. It is, because she got a message from the Ouija board that she thought was God, saying that her son-in-law was evil. So then she goes after the son-in-law, succeeds, but then starts going after her daughter and her grandkids. So that is what is weird. I do. Peace, love, and life. I do have to revisit The Visit. Kyle's going, I agree, down with the bra. I'm sorry, Kyle. That made me laugh. You made my day, Kyle. Tinkle Tits, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Hearts for Tinkle Tits. You're awesome, Tinkle Tits. Thank you. Welcome, Logical Spock, Project Metal Music, Panda Bear, Ozzy Buster, and D. Marie to the Wolf Pack. Hearts for all the new Wolf Pack members and Tinkle Tits. And just a reminder that your membership is good for 1 month. Thank you, Tinkle Tits, and welcome to all the new members. Guys are awesome. Tyranna goes, congratulations on leaving that job. Best of luck on your new journey. Thank you, Tyranna. I appreciate that. Brandon goes, use the emojis, guys. All right, number 3, the Gulf Breeze 6. In November of 1989, 6 U.S. Army intelligence and analysis, all with top secret security clearances, started experimenting with the supernatural while stationed in Augsburg, West Germany. Although they dabbled in everything from tarot cards to ESP, an analyst Vance Davis said that they only had any success with the Ouija board. When they used that, he said they were contacted by a number of spirits who supposedly predicted events like an earthquake in Iran and the Gulf War. In May of 1990, the Ouija board started to tell the analysts that they should begin preparing for Jesus's return because the rapture was going to happen within the next 5 years. When that proved difficult to do while in the military, the board told them they should leave, just leave, and things would work out. So on July 3rd, all 6 intelligence officers went AWOL, and boarded a flight from Munich to Atlanta. From there, they made their way to Gulf Breeze, Florida, which is known for its UFO sightings. They were hoping to meet with a psychic friend who lived in the area. You may already be aware that the board was wrong and the rapture did not occur in the mid-1990s. Instead, the 6 men were arrested by Florida police 5 days after deserting. They were found guilty of going AWOL, forced to forfeit half a month's pay, and discharged from the Army. 2 years after going AWOL, Davis tried to set the record straight after taking the Los Angeles race riots of 1992 as a sign of the approaching rapture. When asked if the men went AWOL expecting to meet Jesus on a UFO, he told the Associated Press, "How ridiculous can you get? Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ. Why would he be coming in a flying saucer?" I don't know. I think even if the Ouija board was telling me that the rapture was coming, I would have not gone AWOL. Thank you, Heather Salvatore. Thank you for gifting 50 memberships. Holy crap. Hearts for Heather Salvatore. Whoa. Welcome, Pixie Dust, I Need to Fish, Eastern Arkansas Transparency, Carrie C, Fuzz, Death Valley, Mary Ellen, McMahon, Kelly B, Busy Mama, Chelsea Wilson, River Song. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to go because it's going fast. Anna, Red Queen, Billy Cat, Southern Mimi. Whoa, it's going so fast I can't read them all. Richard Clark. Paul Boone, Lady Cat, Hamiltron, Michelle, Salt Life, Fragnar the First, hearts for all the new members, and Heather Salvatore. Oh my God, you're awesome. And it's still going. Capital call out. Wolf Machines. Welcome to the Wolf Pack. Chris Barber goes, "Are there ghost members?" Sorry if I couldn't read because it was going so fast too. I don't know. I just feel like those men, I don't know what those men were thinking. What do you think those soldiers were thinking? Wow. I can't explain what they were thinking. I just feel like what this said, like the next rapture, I feel like no matter how religious you are, I don't think you would actually. And then they went to Florida, to an area that's known for UFOs. So it kind of just makes no sense to me. Yeah. Kyle goes, "Preparing for the New World Order." Wake Sheafberry, what's up? I think they were lying, must have been. Heather, whatever goes, "That's the dumbest excuse of AWOL." It is. Julissa goes, "That does not make any sense." It does not. It makes no sense whatsoever. I was expecting, because I was like, a military thing? Like, what's going on here? I mean, I hope it was worth it for them, because that gave them a bad mark on their record. You know what I mean? Like if they were trying to get another job. So, they're putting it on their resume, and it'd be a dishonorable discharge because they went AWOL. Peace, love, and life goes. Soldiers, all of them choosing to do it. I think it's like a way out there. I don't know. I'm with you on this one. Tyrana goes, "I agree, makes no sense." Heather, whatever goes, "No more push-ups." Kyle goes, "I'm exempt from the mandatory pants rule." Dusty goes, "They were trying to get out, maybe?" Yeah, but there's other way. I mean, depending on how long they had, because it doesn't say how long they had. I mean, if it was like a year or something, I'd be like, but if it was like 6 years, then maybe you're right, Dusty. Maybe they decided that the military life wasn't for them, because sometimes it isn't for you. Heather whatever goes, base commander is like, no, I don't think so. But usually people, they'll stay. They'll sign up for 6 years or however, and they'll and at the 6th year mark, that's when they'll decide if they want to stay or do something different. So but that one is just weird. But the guy even says, how ridiculous can you get? Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ. Why would he come in a flying saucer? So I feel like the guy has some screws left. Do you know what I mean? So it makes no sense to me. Kyle goes, those officers clearly saw things and it broke them. Ooh, I didn't think of that. Dusty goes, saying they didn't want to do the clinger things to get out. I did not think of that. What Kyle said, those officers clearly saw things and it broke them. That I did not think about. That's a big possibility. And they just, and they didn't agree with it. And they wanted to get out. True. So they used the Ouija board as a scapegoat. Chris Barber goes, I knew a guy that didn't even finish the first 2 years of service. I mean, there's some people that love it, and there's some people that realize it wasn't for them. And then it's, I feel like being a soldier, they don't get paid what they deserve. At least here in the States, is what I heard. I mean, they get free housing on the base and all that, but I feel like their compensation of what they get is not what they deserve. Number 2, Michael McCallum. On December 2nd, 1995, 17-year-old Michael McCallum and his 16-year-old friend Pierre Antoine lured 2 15-year-olds, Michael Eerie and Stephen Curran, back to McCullen's flat in London, England. The room, which was described as a shrine to Satan, had a Ouija board. While the 4 teenagers were using it, the board supposedly spelled out the word killed. When Earridge tried to leave, Antone prevented him from doing so, eventually striking him. Things took a turn for the worse when McCullen pulled out a foot-long combat knife and used it to stab Earridge 11 times in the neck and chest, while Karam watched on in horror. It is believed that McCullen murdered Earridge in an attempt to make a sacrifice to Satan. McCullen, who had unspecified mental problems, accepted a plea of manslaughter due to diminished responsibility and was sentenced to a limited term at Broadmoor Mental Hospital. Antone, who was a severe schizophrenic, was judged too mentally impaired to understand a plea deal, sparking a major legal case in which his lawyers argued that while he could not legally agree to be to a diminished responsibility plea deal, the judge should still take his diminished responsibility into account. This was a significant issue because if he was found to have diminished responsibility, the judge could place a limit on his hospital order. Antoine would have to be remanded to a mental institution for an unlimited period. The case made it all the way to the House of Lords, who dismissed it, arguing that diminished responsibility only applied when the defendant had the mental capacity to commit murder in the first place. Whoa. The kid was only 15 years old. Heather Salvatore, ghost services are not as organized as you might think. They pay for their housing. Leonard goes, I'm a bit iffy. Wink Shapeberry goes, Richard Ramirez was a Satanist. He definitely was. And he practiced. But that one is crazy. I mean, there's 17-year-old, 16-year-old, and 15-year-old. Number 1, Joshua Tucker and Donald Shelin. Shashalin? In December of 2007, 16-year-old Joshua Tucker and 15-year-old Donald Shalin asked a Ouija board if they should become serial killers. Why would you ask a Ouija board to become a serial killer? That makes no sense. Then they asked who would be killed first, and the board spelled out Mom. It was wrong. On the night of December 19th, the pair were drinking alcohol and cough syrup in Shalin's home. While they were hanging out, Shalin's 13-year-old sister, Elizabeth Shalin, was talking on the phone. Out of nowhere, Tucker took a knife and stabbed her once in the throat. The two teenage boys then hid the body and tried to clean up the blood. When Donald's mother, 41-year-old Lori Shalin, went looking for her daughter, Tucker attacked her as well. She managed to call 911, but police didn't respond in time. When Tucker's knife broke, Donald gave Tucker a dumbbell and a butcher's knife to finish off his what? Lori died on the way to the hospital. After the murder, the two young men who were covered in blood got into a car and tried to flee. They were arrested a short time later. Shalin was given 9.5 years in prison, while Tucker was given a 41-year sentence. What? What would make a 16-year-old do that? And why would you ask a Ouija board if you were going to become serial killers? That is wow. What? That is just crazy. D Nice goes, dude, that's mental. It is. B Stone goes, that's effed up. Kyle goes, so they were effed and they got effed up even further to commit an evil act. They were drinking and they mixed it with cough syrup. So, but still though, like, if every time someone got drunk, then we would have a lot of people in this situation, but there isn't a lot of people in that situation. So, yeah. Heather, whatever goes, Satan has a little one and bling, you're a serial killer. Chris Barber goes, some people are just that messed up at birth. That is just crazy. Pia Stone goes, I've been drunk and never thought of murdering somebody. Exactly. Elaine goes, this is so much more than drunk. Dusty goes, these are suspiciously all with, yes, they are. Yes. No, one of them had a pew-pew. I think two of them had a pew-pew. Kyle goes, clearly they wanted to be killers and wanted to justify doing it. Definitely. Peace, Love, and Life said the same thing as Kyle, because you already wanted to be a serial killer, true, and they just needed something to justify it. They were already thinking of it at 16 and 15. That it's like, wow. Jeff Murray goes, yeah, if you ask a Ouija board if you should be a serial killer, you were long thinking about it already. Probably for a very long time. Leonard goes, remember the movie Natural Born Killer? You know what? I've never actually, I know of the movie, but I've never watched it. Believe it or not. Chris Barber goes, I wanted to be an archaeologist. Wink Sheep Barry goes, it starts in their fantasy life. That is just crazy. So here's an article that is about that kind of delves deeper. It's a short article, but I'll read it anyway, about Elvaker, the 53-year-old grandmother. There's an article about her that's just about her case. So this is from 2001. Women driven to kill by Ouija board, investigators say. Relatives say Carol Sue Elvaker, who was the 53-year-old grandmother that decided to use a Ouija board with her daughter and granddaughters and thought she had gotten a message from God to kill her son-in-law, had no history of mental illness or odd behavior. Police investigating the stabbing death of her son-in-law found no signs of alcohol or drug use or even domestic problems in the home. Instead, they say a Ouija board is what drove Elvaker to fatally stab 34-year-old Brian Roach as he slept. Something like this is unbelievable. I guess it's everywhere, says Joe Gilbert, mayor of the Grady County town of 1,400, located about 30 miles from Oklahoma City. Elvaker, who's 53, was charged Monday with first-degree murder, said Brett Burns, assistant district attorney. Police found Roach dead at his home Sunday from one stab wound to his chest, said Kim Koch, spokeswoman with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. It initially was viewed as a domestic violence episode, then police learned other details. Burns said Elvaker, her daughter Tammy Sue Roach, and Tammy Roach's two daughters, age 15 and 10, were playing with the Ouija board while Brian Roach was asleep. Elvaker then attacked Brian Roach, he said. This is basically the grandmother saying that Brian Roach needed to die, Burns said. Elvaker also suspected of trying to kill the 10-year-old daughter. She thought the 10-year-old was evil and thought the father was evil, Burns says. Who thinks a 10-year-old is evil? Besides Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's version. I think he was 10 years old in that. Or he probably was a little older, but still. Tammy Roach, 34, took the knife away from Elvaker and hid it in the house. She then left the house with Elvaker and the two children, Koch said. Elvaker drove the Ford toward Tulsa on Interstate 44. She eventually crashed the car into a road sign in an attempt to kill all of them. Elvaker broke both ankles in the wreck. The others were injured slightly. After getting out of the car, Elvaker tried unsuccessfully to push the 15-year-old into traffic. Despite her injuries, Elvaker ran from the scene, shed all her clothes, jumped over the highway median barrier, and ran into a wooded area north of the interstate, Koch said. Police found her hiding in the woods. Mind you, she had two broken ankles. while doing all of this. After she crashed the car. Tammy Roach was arrested Monday on a complaint of being an accessory to murder. Burns said because she hid the it's because she hid the knife. I think if she just left it, and she never called the cops too as well. She could have called, but instead she got in the car with her grandmother. Chris, I hope you feel better. Wink Chief Barry talking about the young kids. They were already thinking about it for a long time. Heather, whatever goes so sad. I love my son-in-laws. They're perfect like my grandkids. Matthew goes Macaulay Culkin, The Good Son. Oh my God, that movie was crazy. Wake Shape Barry goes, a Ouija board made me do it. Jeff Emery goes, sounds like a single psychotic episode. Burns said Brian Roach begged for help but was allowed to bleed to death. Oh, that's another thing. That's probably why Tammy Roach was arrested for being a complaint as an accessory, because she didn't try to help her husband. She just let her husband die. That's another thing. Was allowed to bleed to death. Tammy Roach also hid the knife, supplied the getaway vehicle, and didn't try to get away from Elvaker when she had the chance, Burns says. It's amazing how the grandmother was able to let the Ouija board consume her life and how she was able to brainwash her daughter and granddaughters, he said. Brian Roach ran for mayor of Minco in 1986 when he was 19. He won by 8 votes. He unsuccessfully crusaded for more police officers during his first year as mayor. He finished his public office career in 1991 as a city councilman. So this was a little information, but it still doesn't get the grandmother's side, which we all want to know, of why she did it. Jennifer Marie goes, nah, this sounds planned out and plotted. Tyrana goes, it sounds psychotic. Leonore goes, Flowers in the Attic. I love that movie. Not for the subject matter though, but I love that movie. It's just it's one that I can watch. It keeps my attention. And I've seen it many times and it keeps my attention every time. Leonore goes, movie and book, Flowers in the Attic, Loca grandmother. Yes, she was. But that's what the all inquiring minds want to know is, why did the grandma do it? Bea Stone goes, she did it for her daughter because her husband, Tammy Roach, her husband was asking for help while he was dying and she didn't do anything. So I kind of agree with Bea Stone. Maybe she did it for her daughter, like the daughter asked. Daughter wasn't happy. This is all, I don't know. This is all what I'm thinking that it might be. But I still, like, what makes... And then she tried to push her 15-year-old granddaughter into traffic. So it was like she wanted her whole entire family gone. Like, that was crazy. Wink Shave Barry, it's a good movie. Julissa goes, but still doesn't justify it. Exactly. Dusty Lane, no witnesses. No witnesses except for the daughter or the granddaughter and the other granddaughter. Peace, love, and life. I didn't think about that either until Bia had mentioned it. There's also another one. This one's from Metro. I'm not sure about this site. I'm not sure if it's a tabloid site. I kind of try to stay away from them. But there's another one where it goes, boys' friends kill him after Ouija board told them to. And I don't think this one was in, I kind of looked over it. I don't think this one was mentioned in the first article that I had gone. And it goes, a teenage boy was allegedly murdered by a group of his friends after playing with a Ouija board that told them to kill him. Jose Mauricio Espina, 17, was found dead, naked and wrapped face down in a sheet after playing the game with his 3 best friends in a house in the town of Patio Bonito, Colombia, in April of last year. When did this come out? This article came out November 20th of 2023. The game involves using a pointer that is slid around a seance board comprising the letters of the alphabet and the numbers 0 to 9, supposedly to contact the spirits of the dead. His death is still being investigated, but one of the participants allegedly said that the board told them to do it. Jose, distraught's mother, Claudia Velasquez, is demanding answers as the investigation fails to move forward, and I don't blame her. She deserves answers. Mom, Claudia, said that Jose Mauricio had been doing his high school homework on the computer the last time she saw him. She added, I went out to run an errand and he stayed at home, but he told me that he was going to go to a school friend's to do some homework. That friend who he went to see, I know him. My son had even stayed there several times to sleep. When Claudia returned home around 8, he was not there, and she called him again around 11 p.m. I am not entering my email. When Claudia, she added, I fell asleep, and at 4:30 a.m., I woke up anxious because he had not come home yet. When Claudia called him once more, police picked up and said that they had the phone in their possession because they were responding to an emergency. The teen's autopsy report confirmed that he had been strangled to death and had bruises on his head, and also said that the body was moved after he died. And mind you, he's only 17 years old. So I'm assuming his friends are probably about the same age, 17, 16. Local media reported that one of the young people playing the game allegedly said that the board told them to murder someone and that it chose Jose. And you would listen to the board? Jennifer Marie goes, I can't be the only one who would hear an Ouija board say kill someone and decline. Exactly. I mean, if the board told you to jump off a bridge, would you do that too? Or if all your friends were jumping off a bridge, because they always use that. Well, if everyone was jumping off a bridge, would you jump off the bridge? I'd be like, I wouldn't be jumping off a bridge if everybody was jumping on a bridge. In this case too, if the board told me to kill somebody, I wouldn't. Like, what the hell? Another of his friends stated that they had taken LSD before playing the game, but toxicology reports reveal Jose did not have the drug in his system. The friend, who has not been named, told the authorities, I saw colorful figures, then my classmates hitting the wall, and then Mauricio on the floor covered in blood. I knew that all of them, that was a dream. Claudia said of her son, he was very judicious, dedicated to his studies. He had good grades. When he didn't have school, he had to go to McDonald's to work. They took my life from me, and I don't know what happened. I deserve to know the truth. Jose's death is still being investigated. Jose was a good kid. He worked and he went to school. And one of his friends are saying he thought what he saw was a dream. Dusty Lane goes, someone manipulated the board to say that? Maybe because they said one of them took LSD. Kyle goes, if the toast lands jam side down, the devil is near. Chris goes, a Ouija board told me to crap my pants. I said no. Matthew saying he would. Leonard goes, duh, I played it before. I'm like, I'm out. Kelly is saying nope. Hold on, guys. The computer just went crazy. The ghosts are in here. I just lost my screen. Hold on. Here it is. Oh my God, where'd it go? Oh, it went over here. I was like, what the heck? Like literally the screens went off and then I lost. And my article went from this screen to that screen. Oh, Matthew said I would tell the board to go to hell. Jennifer goes, respectfully, Ouija demon, sir, but no. Wake Shapeberry goes, whenever I did a Ouija board and asked, is anyone there? It always went to no. Peace, Love, and Light is going, all of them just blaming a poor piece of particle board for their bad intentions. Exactly. Kyle is going, the computer's possessed by the Ouija. No, I think my studio ghost followed me here. My studio ghost has been Norman. I haven't had any problems, so it decided to come over here and say hello. That was weird. I did not touch anything and like everything. It just flipped off. I was like, and the screens went off too. I was like, I knew the computer was still on. I could hear it. It's the studio ghost. I blame the studio ghost. It followed me here. But that's sad that's sad. Jennifer Murray is asking, anyone else think they are blame shifting to the Ouija board for an insanity plea to go to a facility instead of prison? That's a possibility. Because honestly, I would think if someone said, oh, the Ouija did it and this is what they told me, that they would be like, oh my God, this person's crazy. We're going to put them automatically in an institution. So that's plausible, Jennifer. Bia Stone goes, Norman hitched a ride with Skeleduck. Kyle goes, I think it's Lewis's studio ghosts. I didn't know he had one. Maybe he does have one. And it's saying hello to me. Jennifer Marie goes, like, maybe that grandma hated her son-in-law because he didn't like her cooking and she held a grudge and then wanted to go for the insanity plea. Big possibility. But and both articles, it never gave us grandma's explanation. But maybe they could get grandma's explanation. Because they wouldn't let them get grandma's explanation. Need to Fish goes, I always thought it was called a Ouija board when I was young. Matthew goes, I thought Lewis was a ghost, didn't know anyone else knew about him too. That Julia said that wasn't, and she's never done any, what the trippy thing is, she has never done anything that we know of from the article. And it also said she had no history of mental illness. So that is what's trippy about it. That is super crazy. That's what I'm baffled with that one. Jennifer Murray goes, I'm not speculating, more like what if the Ouija board is innocent and just has an undeserved bad rap? Well, it didn't actually. It was very popular until The Exorcist came out. And then that's when the Ouija board, I remember when I have a stream about the Ouija board, and I remember it seeing like it was super popular, like everyone was using them. It was like a common thing. It was like if TikTok was around back then, it would be a viral TikTok trend. You know what I mean? That's how popular it was back then. People would use spirit boards like it was nothing. And then it had mentioned something like it didn't get an evil rap until The Exorcist came out. And then that's when people were beginning to say, well, that thing's evil, that's thing. So Jennifer Marie, what you said right there, it's plausible. Wake Chief Barry goes, yep, it's like a parlor game, quite innocent. That's how it was back then. Everyone would just like, it was like playing cards was. Everyone was doing it. It's like the Stanley Cups, put it that way. Like everybody wants a Stanley Cup. Everybody wanted a Ouija board back then. Kelly goes, yes, in the late 60s and early 70s, then people said it was satanic. I Need to Fish goes, I don't trust those things. Jennifer Murray goes, the Ouija board didn't summon the demons. It's just a board. I think in this case, I feel like I still don't get the grandma one. That one's baffling me. But I feel like with these kids, especially the ones asking if they're asking the board, are we going to be serial killers? Like, I feel like, and after committing the crime, I feel like they're using that as an excuse, saying, well, the Ouija board didn't. And maybe like what Jennifer Murray says, maybe to get a plea, to thinking that maybe if they said that, they wouldn't go to jail, that they would go to a mental institution. So I feel like they used it as an excuse. Jennifer goes, I think it's plausible. Grandma had a secret vendetta that just took over and then tried to make it look like a psychotic episode. I can't explain her. I'm still trying to think. Like, but then we have 2 articles that I had gone over, but I feel like I need her side. Like, so Elvaker, grandma 53 at the time, because she may not be alive now. We don't know. So what made you? So what were? I don't even know what to ask. Like, what were your thoughts when you were using the board, and like what happened? But I agree too. There's the other thing. Like Bia also said, maybe she was doing it for her daughter. Maybe the daughter was unhappy, was in an unhappy marriage. We don't know we never know. Maybe that the son-in-law was abusive and we just didn't know that too. And the daughter was unhappy. So the grandmother decided to save her daughter. Or what Jennifer Marie says, maybe the grandma didn't like her son-in-law for some odd reason because he didn't like her cooking. I Need to Fish. Oh, it wasn't a panic. Early 2000, I used to see the candles in a pentagram when I said kids, they still mess with things. Even nowadays, they still do. Because it's curiosity. Or they want to do what their friends are doing. Tyrana goes, it's already been in their mind that they want to do that. Jennifer Marie goes, her thoughts were how to avoid going to prison. Peace, Love, and Life goes, it came back slowly in the 90s and then it started coming back, but not as big still. Julissa goes, all very possible. Chris Barber goes, plenty of people do bad things and there's no Ouija board anywhere. Exactly. They admit to what they do. Some of them don't, but some do. Mike Schaefberry goes, yep, I think there must be a motive. That she has no history until then. So something must have drove her to, want to do that. Jennifer Murray goes, when you can't blame your siblings, blame the Ouija board. Oh, the play the records backwards. That was in The Gate too, Matthew, where they played the record backwards. I love that movie, The Gate. Oh. Dusty Lane, but in the end, what would make a person kill? That's not exactly. And some of these articles involve 7 teenagers, 17, 16, 15. Like, what kind of past did they have? A very young, short past, might you add, to make them want to do those things, to kill their best friend. Because the last article I read in Colombia, like the mother was like, he's been to his friend's house all the time. Carol goes, anything is possible if you believe in it. True. Very true. Need to Fish goes, Slayer has a lot of backward songs. Jennifer Murray goes, but the teens were, it said the one, yeah, they were on LCD. So that's what I think happened. They had a bad trip and they didn't know what they were doing. So that one kind of makes sense, Jennifer Murray. It does. But they were saying, poor Jose he was smart. He didn't take, and he was the one that got he got victimized because of it. He wasn't on LSD. But the other two, they said one of them was. So that article I see, but the other ones where they said the Ouija board, because they wanted to go to trip, and they were talking to a spirit named Daniel, and they end up killing the poor guy for $111. Wake Shape Berry goes, they used to say if you played Stairway to Heaven backwards, it said something about Satan. No, I've never heard about that one. Julissa goes, evil makes people kill. Not everyone that takes drugs will kill someone. That's true. Very true. You also have a choice. Not everyone that, I agree, not everyone that does drugs, what Julissa says, not everyone that drinks alcohol, because some of them involved alcohol. Well, if that was the case, everybody that went to a bar would be killing someone, you know what I mean, after they had a drink. So you have a choice too. You Jennifer Murray goes, I think playing songs backwards for demonic messages is on par with seeing faces in the speckling of the ceilings or shadows. I never played songs backwards, so even as a kid, I would play with records, but I probably was too young to think to play them backwards, but Dusty Lane goes, we all have our own free will. Leonore goes, it all depends. Yes, it does. It does depend on mentality. Depends on mentality, depends on what you went through, because sometimes your environment could cause you to go crazy or mad. So it just depends. You could be pushed to your limit and it could cause you to do things that you wouldn't do otherwise. Like we don't know these kids' backgrounds. It never said like maybe one of the kids grew up with an abusive fight. You don't know. Trauma, exactly. What Heather whatever said. I mean, I saw Dusty. I saw it in movies, but I never tried it myself. Wendigo's mentality and age of tremendous influence, or maybe your friends are doing it because you know how sometimes I never did. I never was that type of person that because my friends was doing it, I had to do it. I knew they were my friends and if they would respect me, and if they didn't respect me, they weren't my friends. Jennifer Marie goes, playing music backwards sounds creepy, so of course someone somewhere is going to think they hear something creepy and power of suggestion takes over. True. Or it's like what they call it with pareidolia, where your mind thinks you see something, like what Jennifer Marie said too, like with the shadows on the ceiling, and you think you see a face. Same difference. Or you see like a distorted picture that you've taken and you see, is that a face? So it's like your mind takes over, or your imagination can take over too. Just some people, they take it too far, which sucks. It sucks because I feel like all these people I read about, they didn't deserve that. Wendy Marino goes, patterns on the carpet. Kelly goes, it was a huge Christian movement in the 80s about the music. Leonore goes, way too far. Wake Shaper goes, the whole satanic messages and records was actually taken seriously back in the day. Judas Priest was taken to court and totally ridiculed it. Wow. I Need to Fish says backmasking is something different. They put a forward recording, so when you play it backwards, you can hear normalcy in whatever message they want to send. Heather Whatever's like finding a random message in text. It's not deliberate unless it's in context to the content. Chris goes, I tried with Zeppelin 4, but it's hard to do taking your fingers and turning turntables backwards. And you kind of have to feel I want to show this video real quick. It's cute. It's not really scary or anything, but I found it. But I thought it was cute and I want to show you. It's a cute video. It's not scary or anything. I love it. It's so cute. I'll play it again. I was like, oh, what's this? Dusty Lane has a very good question. So decided to do this backward things in the first place. How did they know there was? I have no idea, Dusty. That's a good question. Whatever goes, some really stone. Chris Barber goes, I jumped out of my chair. Peace peace, love, and life goes that thank you for dropping by and saying that playing records backward thing is real. The studios know how to do it, but don't try it too much. It'll break your needle. I need to fish is saying it actually started from the Church of Satan. The fallen angels speak that way. Got one more video that I want to share. Dude, I'm jealous. He gets like the full screens. On my computer, I don't get the full screens from TikTok. Well, anyways, this is TikTok. And I don't get full screens like this on my computer. I'm like, what is going on? There's sound. Oh, I don't know if you could hear the sound. I could hear the sound, but I don't know if you guys could. Guys, what did you think of that video? I could hear the sound, but I don't know if you guys could hear it. But I'm not too familiar with his setup, so I don't know how to get the sound on if you guys didn't hear the sound. So I apologize. No jump scare, Heather, whatever. Cabby's going barely, but not too sure. Easy to fabricate. She be a stone, she did. But I wanted to know what do you guys think of it? I felt like I could play it again. Jennifer Marie, if I know you're in the chat, I'll warn you. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I didn't realize that it wasn't on the screen. Let me start it over again. Go, George, Lisa. Hold on. Yes, I did, Carol. Skeleduck is behind me. And after this video, I'll show his location. Cabby's going, what do you think? I feel like I agree with what you said, easy to fabricate, because it kind of looks like someone's lying in the bed and they just have the covers over them. Yeah, that was it, Jennifer Marie. It was just the blanket moving and then the dinosaur being tipped over. Dusty, basically the blanket moved. But for me, I felt like because of the placement of the blanket and the pillows, you can easily put somebody underneath it and it's easy to be fabricated. Yeah, that's what I was thinking the first time I saw it. Carol goes, it looks like someone covered with a blanket. It does, because it literally, I don't know, just the blanket was like in a weird position when I first saw it. Excuse me. So I just felt like, I was like, dude, that blanket would not be like that. It looks weird. And guys, Skeleduck, because Bernadette's ghost Skeleduck is staring right at us. Skeleduck is right there. I didn't know where to put him, so I put him by the tombstone of Judith Myers. But he's right there. He's saying hello. Dusty Lane goes, I thought that was a pet on the couch. I can't explain the dinosaur being popped over, but it could have easily been like a fishing line too. But the kid was scared. Brendan goes, Beachy Skeleduck. Just kidding. I love that little Easter egg. Heather, whatever goes, does a Febreze make a sage? But I just feel like, I mean, sometimes your blankets end up looking like that, but just like how it was in the middle of the bed, and it really looked like somebody's legs, and literally somebody pushing it with their legs. So I felt like it's easy to fake that. Dusty was like, Skeleduck has been watching all evening. Yes, and he even watched Nerd Report too. Heather, whatever goes, it looked like legs to me. I was doing what both you and Jennifer Marie was doing. I thought that it was a jump scare as well. And then I was like, dude, that looks like someone's underneath the blanket. Jennifer Marie goes, Febreze that's a smart idea, that it's very markable. Febreze your demons. I like that one. For all your demon vanishing needs, get the sage Febreze scent. Spray your demons away. Chris Barber goes, has Skeleduck made a new friend in ET? I think he has. Just imagine. Oh my God. That would be like an infomercial in a horror movie. You know how they have these funny commercials in horror movies? They should put that in there. Febreze has the new sage scent, made with actual sage. Spray your demons away. No need to burn sage. Just use this handy spray. I use Febreze sometimes. I'll spray it in my car or like on my blankets or something. Febreze goes, "Be gone, demons! Spritz, spritz." I do know the worst thing is I could see that. That's gonna make me laugh. Then they have a holy water one. Oh my gosh. Wendy Maria goes, "I command you, spritz, spritz." Thank you, D-Nice, for your PayPal. Let's get you on more hikes, drone footage, upgraded equipment, and more hearts for D-Nice, guys. Let me make sure I didn't forget anybody else. Nope, I didn't. Heather, whatever goes, "What's that stuff called? What Lisa calls a weapon? Pew pew." Tyranna goes, "He needs another skeleduck friend. If you find another one," I'm trying to find another one. Jeffrey goes, "Brought to you this Easter holiday by Febreze, the holy line, now with popular scents of holy water and sage." And of course, I read it like an infomercial. Bernadette goes, "You should make your own sprit called It's Lisa Sprit. Your ghost ass away, blessed by Nerd Report." D-Nice had this cool shirt design because I always say pew pew. And she shared this cool design as an idea. I don't know if you could see it, which I thought was cool. I thought that was cool. I may use that. D-Nice. That was a good idea. Because I always say pew pew. And he pew pewed some more. I don't know. I just like pew pew. D-Nice is like, "Do it. I may. Let me see." I know, it's kind of whatever. It's kind of like Pepe Le Pew. And then kind of put like Grayson Report at the bottom. So Leonora goes, "Yes, Skeleduck pew pew." All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end the stream? I had a blast with this stream. This was actually a pretty cool subject. Some interesting articles. Heather whatever's like, who demon pew. Chris Barber goes, "The best I felt." I'm glad I'm making you feel better, Chris. I hope you are on the mend. Thank you, Heather whatever. Carol Smart Amazon. Oh my gosh, if I could find a werewolf duck, oh my gosh. That would be so cool. Thank you, D-Nice. Thank you, D Nice, again with the congrats on being free. Leonora going with the flowers in the attic. I have a hanger, a wire hanger that says flower in the attics that came with the when it was a Blu-ray 4K release. So I have the actual hanger. I should hang it in my studio, actually. I have it in my room. It says no more wired hangers. Thank you, Chris. Matthew Gober goes, these pews got a Woodstock made from church pews. Gunner Girl, I'm going to try to figure out a schedule. So, yes, I may be on more often. You're welcome, Akabi. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but you're welcome. Or Cabby. All right, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on the Ouija board murders. I had a blast. Catch me on the next one, which will be for sure on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Actually, I may go a little early, so keep a lookout on my socials. I'm probably going to tweak my schedule a little bit, but I will let you know in the coming week. And thank you for joining me, guys, and stay spooky, and good night, and I'll see you on the next one. Good night, guys. You guys are awesome. Good night.